What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the ESFJ personality type, the external sensors, feelers, judgers. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hang around. We're going to talk more. It's also known as the Consul, ESFJ. I'm Jeff Pilkington. This is Launch Industries. Now, and welcome back. So the ESFJ personality, the external sensor, feeler, judger of all the 16 personality types. Now let's talk about them. Basically, the ESFJ is known as the caregiver of the personality types. They are very warm, often very motherly. They are very nurturing. They tend to really be the caregivers of all the personalities. And the reason this is it's because of how their cognitive functions line up. Now let's talk about their cognitive functions a little bit. What they have is their dominant function is, first of all, everybody has these four main functions, which is your dominant function, your auxiliary function, which supports the dominant function, and then you have your tertiary function, which is kind of backup, you're not as strong in that area, and then you have your inferior function, which is your weak area. And each of these play into how you think. So with the ESFJ, their dominant function is extraverted feeling. So the way the ESFJ, the Consul, the caregiver of personalities, the way they approach the world because of extraverted feeling is how they're feeling about things. They really, when they meet people and with friends, they're very into how they value people and how they feel about people, and their interaction with the world is very based on that. It's very, very important. Often you find them to have they're big on tradition and how that makes them feel, and in their relationships with people, it's all about how they feel about that person. Now, what happens is their auxiliary function, which is introverted sensing, supports that. So what happens is when their extroverted feeling, what happens is they shift into introverted sensing. And introverted sensing is all about the five senses and in the world around them, and organizing those five senses into how they feel about things. Now, so you'll often find the ESFJ has great memories. They have incredible memories because they literally have a filing cabinet of everything and everybody and how they feel about them because of their sensory experiences, that introverted sensing. So that's a plus, and you'll find that they really have good memories about everyone and everything. The problem with that is they tend to be very rigid about those feelings about people. So once you've gone into their filing cabinet, when they see relationships, people they know, managers, bosses, friends, parents, anybody change, they have trouble with that because their senses initially and their feelings about the person went in the filing cabinet like that. So now they're like, no, that's in there. Like, that's how I feel about the person. So they struggle with this, with seeing things change in the world because they trust their feelings and they're really big on their feelings. And when the feeling tells them something initially, their introverted sensing puts that in the cabinet, and then they feel that way. So that's one of their drawbacks. But overall, they're very, very loving, caring people. Now, their relief function is their extraverted intuition. So they have generally a gut feeling about things, and it supports their feelings of how they feel about the world. However, their intuition, they don't trust it as much as they do how they feel, because the extroverted intuition with everything around them is supporting the feeling. And what happens is as they age and as they grow older, they'll come to trust that extroverted intuition a little bit more. But it's a growth thing. They want to trust it more, but it takes a while for them to get into it. And I'm an ENTP, and oftentimes I get along really well with ESFJs because I lead with external intuition. So everything I do is is intuition and external and the environment and how those connect. And ESFJ admires that because that extroverted intuition is kind of their weaker function. And so, a personality like ENTP can help them understand that more and come to grips with that more. And because they want to be good at that, it just takes them a while to improve at it. So they are intuitive. They just need confidence in developing that. And you'll often find that you have to be patient with them in that regard, because they have good intuition. They just don't fully trust it, but they do come to trust it more in time. And then their weakest function is their introverted thinking. Now, because that's their weakest function, which is introverted thinking is logic. It's categorizing, it can be math equations, it can be just really analyzing and using logic to get something. Now the problem with that is because that's in the weak spot, that's in their inferior spot, they don't really they want to trust it more, and they want you to trust it more. So the best thing that you can do is when they're thinking things through is listen to them. And that's why they bond with people really well who give them love back and give them value back, because they want that thinking, their thoughts, what they're thinking about things. As your friend or partner, they really want you to hear what they're saying and how they're thinking about it, because it's not their strength. My internal sensing is in my weak spot, or my external sensing. ENTP's the world and sensory is not our thing. So theirs is their internal thinking, and when you help a person with whatever their inferior function is, it's a big deal to that person, because they're not really comfortable with it. They're even less comfortable with it than they are their extroverted intuition, which is the tertiary function. So the most important thing in friendship with them, or as a romantic partner, is to let them say their thoughts. You might not always agree with their thoughts, and their intuition may not always be right. It's not, because it's not their strength. But they're very, very loving people. They're very caring. They're just the caregiver. I mean, they really are the caregiver of how these four line up. So let them think, and they're pretty smart. They can develop that logic more, but it's not their strength initially. As far as the jobs for them, they're great in jobs that require caring and loving and management and just getting along with everybody. Colleagues, having meetings with colleagues and talking and hearing what people have to say. They really love just group talk and coming to understand each other. Some people think that ESFJ can be more introverted of all the extroverted personalities. That's not true at all. They actually are very, very external people, and they like interacting in that way. But the problem is, because they're leading with that external feeling, they can be offended really easily. So you have to just work on that in the job market, in the job world, and all of that with them. So that's the best thing that I can say as far as they go. They're great friends. They're very reliable. They're very loyal. They tend to care about their social status a lot. They really do care. They do look at that. It's a big deal to them, because they wonder if their internal thinking, if their thoughts are registering with people. They really want their thoughts to get across, and they struggle with that, with kind of writing their thoughts, saying their thoughts, but they still want people to hear them, so that's really important. So that's the best that I can say. I like to keep these videos under 10 minutes, so I hope that helped fill you in. Some people that are ESFJ, good examples would be Taylor Swift, Bill Clinton is an ESFJ, Elton John, Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer Garner, Jessica Biel. I honestly know this list just because I know personality types pretty well, and I can talk to someone for a bit, and I can pretty quickly tell what they are. Those are some people kind of right off the top of my head that I know are ESFJ. There's a lot more when it comes. I have a lot of friends. They love the ENTP, which is what I am, because our cognitive functions are direct opposites. So I tend to be friends. I tend to date them a lot. And I tend to have a lot of friends that are ESFJ. So that's all I've got for you today. ESFJ, you can find more online if you look at the 16personalities.com website. They've got information up there. It's really great. You should check it out. I'm Jeff Pilkington, and this is Launch Industries. I hope this helped you learn more about ESFJ if you are one, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, evening, wherever you are. If you like this video, please be sure to like it below or subscribe. We're here every week talking psychology, life, what's happening in the world, just talking about everything. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Jeff Pilkington. This is Launch Industries. Have a wonderful day and take care. Bye.